Hey guys, I'm Alysha and I've got a really fun tutorial for you guys today. So I saw Kylie Jenner post this checkerboard crochet bikini on Instagram and I was like, I have to make that right now. So I made my own pattern and I'm going to share it with you guys today. I do a nice walkthrough, that's why this video is so long. But so that we can do it together and you can figure it out. You can alter this pattern a little bit so it fits you better, but this is just what works for me. I wear like a small medium. So yeah. And if you guys recreate it, I would love to see your creations. So you guys can tag me on Instagram or TikTok or send me a DM if you just want to show me. So yeah, let's get into it. So first, starting off with the slip knot that we always start with, and I am going to chain 33 because that's the base of what I am going to do for my bikini. Alright, so I have my chain of 33 here, and we are just going to start doing half double crochets in just the orange color. So yarn over, insert, 1, 2, 3, and now the fourth one is going to have our variation. So all of our checkerboards are going to be 4 stitches wide and 2 stitches tall. So I've done 3. I'm going to yarn over, pull 1 through, and instead of pulling this one, I'm going to take my second color, get a little bit, and we're not going to make a slip knot, we're just going to kind of make like a little loop here for us, and hold on to that, and pull that through. Alright, so that was our 4th stitch. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just going to pull a little bit on the orange so that it's nice and tight and even. And now, so that we have these ends tucked in quite nicely, I'm going to hold on to them with my left hand here. And so I'm going to go and start making my 4 stitches in hot pink. So I still am holding on to that orange one, but I'm going to use that pink now. So I'm yarning over and inserting my hook into the next stitch. Notice how I have these 2 extra pieces of yarn underneath here so that I can tuck them in as I do my stitches. So we're yarning over and pulling underneath the stitch there, the orange one, and the tail of the pink one. And we're just continuing, so that's our first one, doing the exact same thing for our second, third, and then the 4th is where the variation starts. So you're going to yarn over, insert, pull through just the one. Now we're going to drop the hot pink and pick up the orange to finish off that 4th stitch, right? And now underneath. Now we're going to continue in making our 4 orange stitches. Make sure to hold on to those 2 pink ends and insert. Hold on to those pink ends so that they get tucked in. And we've got 1 stitch, 2, 3, oops, yep, 3, and 4. But we're on the 4th one, we're only pulling through the orange and then picking up the pink and finishing that 4th one in hot pink. Again with the pink. Still gotta tuck those ends in. Now we're getting to the end of our pink tail, so we just want to hold on to it as long as we can. And now the fourth one, we have that variation where we pull through one pink, pick up our orange, and pull through. And now we don't really have that tail anymore. It's only like a little nub that we've got going on still. So I'm just going to continue still holding that pink. So we're holding it behind so that it gets tucked into our work. And notice how you can't even see at the back here that we have been hiding the pink behind here. We've been hiding the orange behind there. Can't even notice. Oops. So we do our 3 stitches. Sometimes I forget to do the variation. So we go pull through the orange, and then we pick up our pink and finish that 4th stitch with the pink. Alright, so at the end of the row, I didn't pick up the orange one at the 4th stitch because I'm doing another row of pink here. So I'm going to chain 2, flip my work, and you'll notice your yarn starts to get tangled. I don't really know how to fix it, but I adjust it at the end of every row pretty much. If you saw my bikini tutorial, the bottoms are going to be the exact same. So we did row 1, just regular, no increases or decreases, and now we're going to add a decrease here. We're making sure that we're still picking up that orange. We're picking up the 1, and picking up the 2, and pulling all the way through, and that's our first decrease. And then in this last pink one here, we are switching to orange. And so remember, we are decreasing on both sides wherever we have like this tail sticking out. So I'm going to decrease here. I'm going to go 1 and 2. And since our next row is going to be pink, I'm switching colors and chaining 2. Making sure to carry up that orange with me. So now this is just a regular row with no increases or decreases. And now we should only have 3 there. I still mess up on this pattern quite a bit. It's not quite muscle memory yet. Because this is my first time, not my exact first time, but this is my first print that I'm doing where I switch colors in the middle of the row rather than at the end. And you may notice that the coloring on this one is slightly different from the one that I posted or the one that Kylie Jenner is wearing, and that is simply because I ran out of the color that I wanted. It happens, but I think that this peach is a really cute substitute. I think that it matches with the whole like coconut girl aesthetic that we've got going on this summer. And I didn't switch to pink there because we still have another row of orange. But remember, whenever there's a tail here, that's the row that we're decreasing on. So I'm going to decrease here. For this one, I found the trickiest part when I was figuring out the pattern the first time is just knowing when to switch and remembering to switch colors. Oh, and of course, when the yarn gets all tangled up within each other. I just don't know how to eliminate that. If you guys have any tips for me, please let me know. remember, since we've got a tail on the end here, we are going to decrease on this one as well. Just one regular, and then we're going to join these two together. And since the square above this one is going to be orange, I'm switching to orange. Now we've got another regular row. But you're just going to keep on going up and up until it's like a trapezoid shape, and then stop when you've decreased enough that it's the amount that you want to cover your crotch. You're just gonna keep going with your design until you get to here, which is like the crotch part, and that's where we'll stop our decreasing, but I'll get there with you. So we've got our trapezoid shape all the way done, and I've left it so that there are 2 squares left, so that's like 8 stitches across. And now I'm gonna do a couple of rows just for the crotch part. And for this crotch part, I'm not doing any increases or decreases. Just kind of keeping it with these 2 squares until I have enough to cover. And on this last one, since I'm switching the square colors, I'm going to finish off the row, adding that variation and switching to orange. Okay, so I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, and my 7th one is going to be my last one without any increases or decreases. Alright, and so now we're going to start increasing. So I'm on the side with the tail on the end, just so I can make it easy for myself and I can always check which side I'm doing the increase on. This isn't necessary, I just do it because I forget sometimes. And so now we're doing like this part, so we just did our crotch part, and now we're going to increase on every other row so that it makes a big triangle. It's like the exact same for the front and back. You're just going to match that. So I'll do the first couple rows with you. So since I'm increasing one, you have to make that like 5th stitch that will be added on here orange, because you can't have 5 pink stitches in a row because that just doesn't match the pattern. So I'm going to show you how to increase here. You're just going to insert and make a regular half double crochet as normal, except we're going to have to switch colors really fast here. I almost forgot. So switching to pink, and then for our second half double crochet, it's the pink. You inserted it back into the exact same hole, and then just continue down the row until you get to the last stitch. So we're putting one orange one in the last stitch, but then switching to pink. And then in that very same hole, we're putting a pink stitch. But, tricky part, this pesky pattern, we have to switch back to orange because we already have our square here. So, that may not make a lot of sense, but we already have 2 rows of orange, and this would theoretically like be in the same row, right? So on the next row, it would be like starting this. So I'm inserting one orange, but then finishing it off with a pink, and then the next 4. Are pinks. And then we finish it off with an orange. Finish with a pink. And then in that very last stitch, we're putting a pink. And now we are already back to the other side where we're adding our increases. An increase, so 2 pinks, but then we have to switch to orange. I think that this checkerboard pattern is so tricky just because you always need to keep in mind where you're switching colors, how you're switching colors, and what you're going to do next. You can't really just like mindlessly do it unless you're super good at this stuff, and for that I applaud you if you can do it without really thinking about it. And I'm switching colors because we need to change, because it's the next step in the squares. On this row we have no increases. All right, we have another increase row. And by the next time we get here, we'll have 4 whole squares across, if that makes sense. Because we will have increased each side by 4, adding 8, and thus 2 more squares, 1 pink and 1 orange. Or, yeah, it would always be 1 pink and 1 orange. Alright, so continue until your back piece matches your front piece. You can just fold it over to see, like that. And then I will meet you at the end. Alright, so I've gotten to the end of my bikini. Super cute, we've got that checkerboard pattern. And now for the straps, it's going to be almost exactly the same as our just like regular bikini tutorial. But I'm going to pick up both colors at the end to make our straps. So we're just going to, at the end, we're going to pick up both and chain 70. If you're using a small hook like mine, it might be a little bit difficult, but you'll get the hang of it. So you've got this kind of like multicolored strap going on. We're chaining 70 at each corner, and I'll show you how to attach at the different corners in just a second. Alright, so once we have 70 chains, you're going to pull up a little bit. And snip. And then pull it through nice and tight. And then just trim your ends. And there is your first strap. So now I'll show you how to attach it to each corner. So we're going to have a total of 4 straps, 1 on each corner, so you can tie it up. But for attaching the next one, you're going to take your 2 ends and treat it as if it's one and make a slip knot. Stick your hook through. You're going to find a spot where you can insert. It's nice and secure. And you're going to yarn over, pull through, and with that same thing, don't yarn over again, just pull through again, and that's your slip stitch. And I'm just going to chain 70 again. So that is what you're going to repeat for the rest of the corners, and then you'll be all done. Alright, and that's the end of our bikini bottoms, and now we'll move on to the top. I am going to start with a chain of 33 because I measured that against my own breast and saw like that's how long I needed to cover the bottom part of my breast. For you guys it might change, but we're not doing a bikini cup. We're pretty much doing the exact same thing here, so we're just making a triangle and then finishing it off at the top, right? But instead, for the top, instead of decreasing every other row, we're going to decrease every single row, just so that we can get there in like a smaller space. You could do every other row if you need more coverage on your breast though. So let's get into it. Okay, and then I'm going to start my half double crochets. I've got 1, 2, 3, and then on the fourth one, we're adding in the second color. So we're taking our loop and pulling it through. I'm actually going to shorten the tail a little bit just to make it easier for myself in the future. And we're switching to orange. If you guys just did the bikini bottom, this should be pretty simple for you now. Get the hang of it. But of course, if you're like me, sometimes you're gonna mess up, and I mess up a lot. It's just a bit confusing to keep it going all the time and switching colors. So there's no shame in that. And remember, we're tucking back that tail behind all of our stitches. So our first row, we're not going to do any decreases, but then on the second row and every row after that, we're going to decrease. So because everyone's boobs are different, all of our cups might look a little bit different, but still with the same basics of the checkerboard pattern. All right, now chaining 2, flipping our work. And this is our first decrease. So we're inserting into the first hole and the second, and then, oops. So this is our first decrease. We're making sure to hold that second color behind, and we're pulling through one, and the second hole, and pulling through all of them. You should be able to get these cups done faster than you did the bottom part, just because they're smaller. Unless you've got super large boobs, it would be bigger than the bikini. And now we have the decrease at the end, and also we're gonna have to switch colors at the end because the next row is the alternating colors for the checkerboard. Boom, and the pull through in the peach color. All right. So remember, we are going to decrease every single row on both sides. So we have another decrease here. And we have another row of like the same colorways. And remember, decreasing at the end. And remember, we have a decrease at the end here. And we are switching colors as well, which I forgot about. And another decrease here. so now we're starting to see the triangle shape come together. I'm gonna keep going, leave you guys until I get close to the end and there's only a few stitches left. So I've gotten to the point in my triangle where I only have 4 stitches at the top left because we're decreasing in both the orange square and the pink square. Alright, and so now we only have like these 2 stitches at the top. But what I'm going to do is do my chain 2, and then in the center here, I'm inserting my hook and doing a slip stitch with both of them. With this tiny hook, it's a little bit tough. But now I'm going to make a chain of 100, and this will be the one strap to go around my neck. Alright, so I just pulled up, clipped the end, and tied it off. And now what we're going to do is make some loops at the bottom for another string to go in through for our rib cage. So since I decided to make the chain at the bottom just hot pink, I'm going to make the loops in the orange, just so that we have like a good balance of everything. Okay, so I'm just going to insert at one end and do a slip stitch, and we're going to chain 4. And now you should have some like well-defined stitches down here, so I'm going to count 1, 2, and then on the third I am going to insert it and attach with a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count 2, 1, 2, and then insert into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and into the third. 1, 2, 3, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, insert into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and into the third. 1, 2, 3, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, into the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, into the third, but since we're right at the end, I'm just gonna stick it in the end. Slip stitch, pull it up, snip, and insert it through. And just to make it secure, I'm gonna tie it to my starting stitch here. Okay, so now that we have this cute little hem on the bottom, we just need to make a strap that's long enough to go all the way around our rib cage. So what I'm doing basically is just gonna make a 170 chain strand, and I'm doing the both colors again just so it's nice and sturdy. Did a slip stitch and count out 170. Alright, so I got to the end, snip, and tie off, And now what you're going to do is loop it back and forth through this little scalloped hem. You could do this with the assistance of a crochet hook or a darning needle, but it's also pretty simple just to do with your fingers here. And then once you make your other side, your second cup, then you'll be all done. So I'm gonna go quickly make that second cup and come back. All right, so I finished my second cup. And now I just have to weave this through. And boom. And it's all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see if you guys make this. I really, really love it. I think that it's so cute. I made one for me and my friend as well. So yeah, make sure to check me out on Instagram and TikTok. And I hope to see your creations. All right, bye.